Welcome to this on-demand webcast for childcare.gov. I'm Ken Branscombe. I'm a consultant at ICF. I've been working closely with the childcare.gov team over the last year to assess the data landscape and to engage states around the data needs for the project. The purpose of this webcast is to give you a series of updates related to childcare.gov. And on this webcast, we have three objectives: to provide support for your website and your database connections. We want to share with you what we've learned from recent data dictionary validation pilot, and also describe new resources and pilot opportunities that are available to all states and territories. Now I'm going to share a roadmap that we're working on to help us all work together to move forward toward the vision for consumer education and specifically for childcare.gov. There are 8 steps on the roadmap, and we're going to take a look on this slide at the first 4. Step 1, as a starting point, it's important to develop a clear purpose and vision around consumer education, including a consumer-friendly and easily accessible state website. We want to reiterate that childcare.gov will be leveraging the consumer education resources that you're already making publicly available and the data and information that you're already making publicly available on your websites and search tools. Your vision should include a short-term and a long-term aspect to it to achieve the CCDF consumer education requirements for your state website. Step 2, the next step is to review background materials for childcare.gov, including getting ready to connect and a data dictionary. These are documents that you should review with your data partners to develop an additional shared understanding and vision for the future for your state, and to develop your plan for connecting with childcare.gov. Also think about your own vision for meeting the childcare information needs of families. And remember that you can find these documents on the OCC website, which will be provided at the end of the presentation. Step 3 is to conduct an inventory of publicly available data and to identify your data partners. And in this step, you'll want to ask questions and get answers to questions like, who in your territory holds the data for licensing? Who holds the data for QRIS, for subsidy, for child care resource and referral data? What data elements are collected? So map out the data elements that you collect. How many of these data elements are publicly available already? And then what are the data gaps? After you've looked at the data that you have available, then you can consider conducting a sample data pull of publicly available data elements across all partners using either a comma-separated value template, and an example of that, of a comma-separated value template, can be found with the other materials that I mentioned a moment ago, getting ready to connect, and the data dictionary. Step 5, if you've been sharing data already or you're making provider-specific data available on your state or your territory's website, step 5 around data governance and privacy may be already very familiar to you. If it is, now is a great time to review your policies and procedures to make sure that as you expand the data that you're sharing with families, as you're potentially pulling in data from other sources, to make sure that your data governance practices are still sound, and to identify areas where you need to make improvements. If you haven't worked much around data governance so far, now's a great time to start building this necessary infrastructure around data sharing, including data privacy concerns, and also confirming the quality of your data is an important step. Step 6, once you have accurate and timely childcare data that you're ready to share, it's time to start preparing to automate the process of sharing the data with childcare.gov. And there are a couple of options for that. There's a comma-separated value approach that states can use to share data on a nightly basis, and then application program interface, which would allow more of a real-time exchange of data. Step 7 is to request approval from the Office of Childcare to begin sharing your data with childcare.gov. And involved in that process will be a routine for testing to make sure that the connection with childcare.gov and the transfer of data is working properly, and to make sure the data that you're sharing is displaying on the website properly. And then the final step, the last step, is an ongoing step to plan for ongoing maintenance, data quality, and support efforts. So that's just a quick run through of the roadmap for connecting with childcare.gov. We hope you found this helpful. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this update about childcare.gov. We will continue these webcasts periodically throughout the implementation of childcare.gov, and just keep in mind that if you have questions, the childcare.gov team is around always to answer your questions. You can reach out to them directly through askchildcare.gov@ICFI. And of course, feel free to reach out to your state system specialist who work very closely with us and can also help facilitate getting answers to any of your questions. Thank you so much.